for tuning in. A warm welcome to all of you for tuning in. My name is Jemima Beekers. I'm your host for tonight. So before we get into the full program, let's have a look at today's headlines. Welcome back once again. So this afternoon, my colleague Ohone Tlahe had a Skype interview with the Namfisa CEO, Ms. Erna Motinga, to talk about the Namfisa Financial Stability Report that was launched yesterday. The discussion also touched on Namibia as a country's financial stability. Thank you very much. Please have a look at that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening's review on Namibian Sun's Facebook platform. We are joined in studio via Skype by Namfisa Deputy CEO, Mrs. Erna Motinga. The Bank of Namibia and Namfisa this week launched the Financial Stability Report. Ms. Motinga, what is the role and mandate of Namfisa and the Bank of Namibia on the Financial Stability Report?
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me. Maybe just to start off, the financial system stability is defined as the resilience of the domestic financial system to external and internal shocks, whether it is economic, financial, or political shocks. So the purpose of both the Bank of Namibia and Namfisa in their role in terms of financial stability is to monitor and identify risks and vulnerabilities in the financial system and to assess the resilience of the financial system to domestic and therefore also the external shocks. So that in short the role.
Okay. And then who primarily is responsible to ensure that there's financial stability in the country?
For Namibia, we have a tripartite agreement that sets up guidelines and that sets out...
Ma'am, we can't see you. You're going to have to adjust the cell phone.
In terms of financial stability between the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Namibia, and Namfisa. So, as per the tripartite agreement, the two regulators being the Bank of Namibia, who regulates the banking sector, and Namfisa, who regulates the non-banking sector, and the Ministry of Finance. They have quarterly meetings to exchange information and to deliberate on key risks within the financial system, and therefore recommend appropriate action.
Okay. And then looking at the Financial Stability Report this week, what would you list as the major highlights? And then, ma'am, before you continue, you're going to have to put the cell phone a bit down so that we can see you.
Thank you.
Yes, that's better.
Today, this morning, the Bank of Namibia, together with Namfisa, has launched the Financial Stability Report. It's a report that looks mostly backwards, so it's a report that covers 2019 and the risks that we might have seen in 2019, but it's also forward-looking in as far as data is available. So that report was launched earlier today on the 28th, and there's a few things that we have seen. So the first thing that we have seen is that the risk to financial stability has definitely increased dramatically since the last Financial Stability Report, which is the 2018 report. And maybe more increased since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic at the end of 2020. We've also therefore seen deterioration, notable deterioration in the global macroeconomic environment. The domestic economy has continued to contract in 2019 with gloomy growth prospects going forward. We also see from a stability perspective that households are indebted, corporates are indebted, and those indebtedness ratios have increased moderately in 2019. We are happy, however, to also note that the banking sector has remained robust, remained profitable, and well capitalized despite sluggish economic growth in 2019. Obviously, with the COVID-19 coming on board, there were various relief measures adopted to help mitigate some of the risks associated with the pandemic. Similarly, if one looks at the non-bank financial institutions, the sector that I'm responsible for, the sector has remained and stable during 2019, this despite recessionary economic conditions. However, we are expecting potential adverse implications on performance going forward, obviously because of the outbreak, the COVID-19 outbreak. What we also look at as the Namibia Systems Stability Committee is the payment systems, the Namibia payment system. And we are seeing that the payment system and the infrastructure has remained stable and continue to operate efficiently and effectively during 2019. With relating to COVID-19 pandemic, there has been various relief measures pronounced by both the Bank of Namibia and Namfisa to mitigate some of the potential risks in the financial system. So those are in the main some highlights on the overall stability report that we have launched earlier today.
Again, then the last point, and then, ma'am, we are going to request you to lower your cell phone again for our viewers. What are some of the risks facing the financial sector coming now from out of the financial stability report?
Now, risk stemming from the banking sector is some of the things that I'll talk through the viewers. The banking sector, as I said, remains robust, it's profitable, and it's well capitalized. The total assets has grown, albeit it is at a slow growth rate, with liquid assets that are well in excess of the statutory minimum requirements. The banking sector, in terms of overall impact of risk, there were no significant risks in 2019. Having had no real threat to financial stability. I mean, risk has improved, and the potential of risk going forward has improved. But if you look at profitability of the banks, if you look at minimum capital requirements, we are saying that banks have a downside risk to the banking sector is high. However, the impact is estimated to be medium as relief measures are implemented and developments are monitored. That's on the banking sector. Now, risk stemming from the non-bank financial institution sector, we are saying that despite the recessionary conditions, the NBFI sector has remained financially sound and stable, with funding and solvency levels above prudential levels in 2019. There has been positive performance in terms of insurance and pensions industries, because financial markets quite a bit back a while ago has been robust. So we have seen robust performances, and therefore we are expecting to see some changes in the 2020 financial year, obviously owing to COVID-19, the COVID-19 outbreak, as I said. But what we are also seeing is that there will be increased pressure, particularly on pension funds, given that the industry funding levels were only slightly above prudential levels. We're looking at pension funds to be funded fully at 100%, so the buffers there has been just slightly above the prudential requirements. In terms of the effect on the insurance sector, we are saying that insurance sector has been a profitable sector with robust capital buffers in the interim. So we are hoping that the sector will remain robust going forward, while over the long term, we are uncertain as the situation is changing with the pandemic. So that is in the main on both sectors, banking and the non-banking sector.
And then, in conclusion, what are the key takeaways for members of the public from this report?
Thank you for that question. In conclusion, in terms of takeaways, the message that needs to be landed with the public really is that the financial system has remained sound and resilient in 2019, despite unfavorable domestic and global economic conditions. The expected deterioration in financial stability arising from the COVID-19 pandemic is very important because the potential impact to cash flows of households and businesses will be impacted. We know that some businesses are having hard times in terms of keeping their doors open. People might be laid off. So these are some of the impacts that the public must take note of, that going forward there might be increased pressures on cash of households and businesses. The Flexibility Committee, which is a tripartite committee between the Bank of Namibia, as I said, Namfisa, and the Ministry of Finance, and the authorities will also not hesitate to adopt further policy measures to preserve the stability of the financial system if warranted going forward. So those are, in short, the main takeaways for public, for the members of public as well.
Thank you very much for granting us this interview.
As we all know, informal trading has been allowed to resume business, and as part of that, the City of Windhoek Mayor, Ms. Fransina Kahungu, paid a visit to the what is popularly known as the single quarters informal market, where we go for our kapana, to brief these informal traders there as to how they need to conduct their business going forward in light of coronavirus. Please have a look at what transpired there.
As you can see here, that yellow line there, as you can see, this is one, like it's a shop, we call them a shop. This like this, the shop here, that yellow line there, the customers will be standing there, they won't be coming in, they will just stand there and they will tell us what they want. So it's 1 meter distance.
I am very happy looking at or thinking about the way this open market was in the past. I must say, very, very dirty and not well organized. It's nobody's fault. It was the busyness which was taking place, and nobody didn't have much of the time to clean the whole place. Come coronavirus period, we need to keep the place very clean. That's why we embarked on this process, although it is mandatory also. Advantages once more of the area or the community is that at least trading will continue again. Cash flow will come in once more.
We will continuously improve. We will each month make sure that this market is cleaned twice a month, where we will have a cleaning day, and what is applicable here will be applicable to all the markets around Windhoek. So I submit, Honorable Minister.
The government of the Republic of Namibia felt, no, I think a number of things need to be reviewed as essential. Now food is one of the essentials. So we have then realized that no, also our people who are selling at open market, they need to come back and then start selling, food to other people, because majority of our people are surviving from this income that they are generating from open market. Now, when we the time we came here to say now let's open again. When we look at the condition of this open market, when we look at the setup, we say, this is not the time now that we can just start saying people come back again and then open.
This should not be the normal market. It should be a transformed market. The markets, they are satisfied, they are certified by the Ministry of Health and Social Services to be compliant. If they turn out to be non-compliant, we reserve the right to close them. So this must be clear.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Please stay safe, wash your hands, keep a safe distance. Good night.